They saw her the instant her boots hit the gravel. Her rifle wasn't mounted as the manuals insisted. Instead of resting across her chest, it lay diagonally across her back, unobtrusively violating regulation. Her shoulders were set squarely, her eyes fixed forward, and her pace hid no hesitation. It wasn't more than seconds before the recruits were laughing. To them, tradition meant strength uniform equipment, standard poses, loud voices. They believed they were witnessing an error. What they didn't realize was that Maya Torres wasn't forged by tradition. She was fashioned by survival. She flowed like water slicing through stone. Consistent, quiet, unyielding. Where others rattled with regulation configurations, Maya wore her gun as if it were an extension of her own frame. Her technique wasn't sloppy. It was deliberate. It was born 3 years before in the Andes Mountains during an OP that, officially, never occurred. That sling over her shoulder wasn't sloppiness, it was design. Low-profile scopes, offset laser, sidearm position for immediate availability. Every decision was a secret. No one else in that range could decipher. But the rumor spread anyway. Look at that arrangement. Recruit Harris grinned, elbowing his friend. Who taught her that? Her boyfriend. The laughter rolled. The taunting tone spread. Another voice interrupted. What is this? A video game! Real soldiers don't walk around with their rifles like that. Maya didn't blink. She didn't justify. She just held her ground, waiting. Not for approval. Not for affirmation. But for that inevitable moment when her silence would be heard louder than their words. And then someone did see. Someone who recognized the exact thing he was staring at. Instructor Cole. 20 years in Delta Force. His gaze hardened as he examined her gear. That crossbody sling wasn't accidental. It wasn't novice. It was specialized. He'd seen it before on troops schooled for vertical environments where a normal mount became a death warrant. He'd seen it on individuals who'd borne more than a firearm, they bore lives. Cole strode across the range, boots crunching gravel. The gossiping stopped cold. Each recruit had anticipated him ripping her apart, punishing her for violating regulation, but Cole just leaned close, speaking softly enough for her ears only. Only Rangers train like that! The words hit like a round discharged in silence. Maya's eyes flicked toward him, just long enough to confirm what he already knew. It was a moment of recognition. Unspoken, but undeniable. And then Cole turned, walking back down the line as if nothing had happened. Yet everything had changed. The laughter ceased. The jeering faded. Maya was no longer the peculiar recruit with the peculiar gear. She was something else, something with a code, a burden, an unsaid past. Her legend started subtly. Shadow, they said. A murmur at first, then a caution. Recruits soon learn not to make light of what they didn't know. And Maya proved them all wrong over the months. Her stats were self-evident, 15% more accurate than average shooters under live drills. Twice as quick through low-light movement courses. Simulated breaches so perfect that instructors started using her video to retrain veteran squads. But numbers weren't what made her memorable. It was that she was always silent. By graduation, a man stood in the crowd. Civilian attire. No emblem. His eyes met hers during the presentation of the flag, and with the slightest inclination of his head, attested to all the file never spoke. Command began prying after that. They discovered her personnel file locked at level 6 clearance. They discovered remnants of a unit that had been disestablished, eliminated after a mishap never put out. Her weapons configuration was identical to theirs. So when war broke out years later in country nobody had ever fought in with vertical mountains in City Rubble Day. Didn't send a memo. They didn't give orders. They simply said, "Send Shadow." She set out at sunset, rifle carried the same way. Locals taunted her until she took 4 hours off their path and attacked an enemy position so efficiently that satellites couldn't sense she was there. 13 weeks of war. 22 missions. 0 casualties on her watch. And she never asked for credit. Never filed reports that stated the entire truth. Never sought medals. She spoke Only once. A rookie approached, saying, "Why do you hold your rifle that way?" Maya turned to look at him, her voice leveled but sharp, with something that was never taught. "Because it remembers what I lived through?" And then she moved away, disappearing into the morning mist as a story disappears into myth. It's done today in advanced tactics schools as Shadow Mound. At the same base where the rumors started, there's a plaque outside the weapons racks with this one line etched into it. "Only Rangers train like that." Sometimes the greatest tales are the ones never spoken. So did this one make you move? Let us know in the comments where you're watching from! And if you want to hear more tales of silent heroes, don't forget to subscribe. Block Drama!